The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show, brought to you with Levi Solicitors. 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Down here with Michael and with Moscow as well. Arsenal at the weekend. Ready for that? You looking forward to it?
I suppose so. I want these games out of the way. I'd be quite up for us playing all of our games back to back. Just one straight after, rolling straight into the next, so I know exactly what has happened.
They've been trying to do that too, or thinking about it for creating more interest in the Champions League semi-finals. That it seems not enough people care about those really thrilling games, having them all at once.
Do you think that doing our relegation back to back relegation running, I should say, it's not confirmed yet, would be the festival of football they're trying to promote for the Champions League?
Yes. Take Leeds, Everton and Burnley and all our opponents to a Mediterranean island with fireworks and paper. Great combination, those two together, and just have a week. See how
that pans out.
Whoever actually is on the flight back, they can stay in the Premier League.
The most players that make it back in one piece. Arsenal, they're having a weird season, aren't they? They're likely to finish top four, but it's absolutely impossible to know exactly what they're going to do on any given week because they're quite streaky. They go on a winning run and then they go on a losing run and then they go on another winning run and they lose some more. It's
hard for Arsenal Fan TV because they don't feel comfortable to dig in on any one position because they just as they kind of get into the Arteta's shit, Arsenal need better, they then win like 4 games in a row and okay, you can stay for a bit, and I suppose it does look like we're in the top 4 and we have got a young team, but hang on, we've lost 3-0 at Palace, he needs to go, and it's just nowhere to put him.
And they lost to Brighton as well.
They looked really good when they played at Ellen Road earlier in the season.
Brighton have broken the algorithm as well, by the way, Moscow. They've gone past their allocated 9 wins every season.
It is probably their greatest season in the modern era, isn't it?
I think it is.
They've won 10 games. But amazing. We just stop there if I was them.
I was going to say, we digress anyway. Arsenal, what's going to happen? How do you feel about it? Never mind what's going to happen. How do you feel about it?
I feel like maybe we'll get something from this, and I don't know why.
I think this is going back to the kind of hope is all we have left now.
Possibly.
Kind of
I feel like it was so easy for them earlier in the season against our setup because essentially it was just Martinelli and Saka running past fullbacks, Odegaard with loads of space in the middle, and the whole thing just didn't function properly. And I feel like they'll be coming up against something very different this time around.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it could be different in the way that there's no width and we can't attack, but at least they shouldn't score as easily.
We lulled them into a false sense of security at Ellen Road. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Like we planned it.
Yes.
Prepared it by playing just a bunch of kids and losing 4-1, so that the last thing they'll expect.
There was an element of that, though, wasn't there, with Man City, if you think about it, like the switch between the first game where we got pummeled being wide open at 7-0 and we got pummeled at 4-0 not being quite as wide open, but it wasn't really like you said, it was a 3-1 game. I think you said on propaganda you probably have accepted that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Where's Benjamin White?
He's injured at the moment, I think.
Is he?
So this is we've got their best 11 that who scored have put it on there.
Well, that's from the last game, is that lineup that's on the sheet. So yeah, Ben White doesn't seem to have played, so I think I can only assume he's out injured. But Eddie Nketiah played the last game, so it'd be nice to see him again, maybe.
Do you think he's bribable?
That's libelous to say, probably. I'm going to say no.
No, it's just your opinion as to whether he might be.
Who's the most bribable in the Arsenal team, do you think?
I don't think we should get into this.
Well, Emile Smith-Rowe is already a Leeds hero.
That's true.
We could ask him
for a favour. No money will change hands.
No, exactly. Yeah. Let's say, rather than asking who is bribable, who is the most generous of spirit?
Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
He's due a red card. I'm sure he deserved one last time we played them, as I remember, and I can't remember what he did. I just remember I didn't like it.
This was the game, and I don't know if anything ever settled from it, but wasn't he being investigated for the betting on that card? Remember?
Maybe he was.
Well, he was.
Good.
There was a big investigation about betting patterns going into the last 10 minutes.
And we've heard no more since.
Lots of money going on Granit Xhaka to get booked, and lo and behold, he did meaningless, and I think he was time wasting when they were 4-1 up. So, but all the reporting around that stressed that there was no suspicion being placed upon him personally. So we should probably join in on that. And also, he was in the Swiss under-21s team with Gaetano Berardi, and he's a good judge of character. So you'll probably say he's a good lad.
He's just a normal man, an innocent man.
Yeah, it's nice that Berardi got such a sing-song on Saturday. A bit strange. But I felt like that was the biggest song after Marching On Together was for Berardi.
Well, we always do this, don't we? We hide in comfortable places when things are going bad.
That's what I was saying about Marsh's maybe not quite understanding the nuances of the way a Leeds crowd act when things are going badly. Like, we'll just start singing about Don Matteo because there's nothing else to do. It's just like, well, let's just have a fun time while not watching what is actually taking place in front of us.
Speaking of the past,
more about what songs do we like rather than
what's going on in front of us.
Yeah.
Speaking of the past, there are unavoidable parallels with us going there in an all blue kit, admittedly a Chelsea one in this case, when we went down last time, and we saved ourselves.
We didn't go down
at Arsenal. That's what I'm saying. It was the season after we went down, wasn't it? But
yeah, a darker blue kit, and we lost 5-0.
But we rescued ourselves at Arsenal, admittedly Highbury and not the Emirates. But let's not get into that.
Still London,
but it's
basically the same place.
It's irresistible as a prospect, isn't it?
I mean, I'd rather we were going to Watford again, to be honest.
Well, we're not. Michael, we're not. It's time
that would be nicer.
It's time to face up to the truth there, is that we need to pull something out of the bag. So let's start on Sunday.
I mean, the other thing about that game, if we're looking for parallels, is that we were all over the place in terms of the team lineup and injuries. We had, and I'm just
Simon Johnson played, didn't he?
Memory. Simon Johnson came off the bench, and it's listed here as a 5-3-2, but I'm pretty sure we ended up with Dominic Matteo and Lucas Radaby were playing in midfield, and we had a back four of Kelly, Mills, Hart and Dewberry. Eirik Bakker, Harry Kewell, Jason Wilcox also on the pitch, so it was like Kewell and Viduka up front, Bakker and Wilcox as wide midfielders. Lucas Radaby and Don Matteo centre midfield, and then that back four, and Paul Robinson in goal, because obviously we'd sold Nigel Martin for. Oh no, Martin would have been on the bench still, wouldn't he?
Yeah, this was the season we were playing Robinson, even though we had Martin.
So even with that self-sabotage of a lineup, we went there and won.
So this is the day that Rafinha, then, to draw the modern parallel, Rafinha goes there. This is his virtuoso performance before he goes.
Is he? I mean, physically speaking, would you say Gelhart's got a bit more of the Vidukas about him?
Yep.
Bit of a big arse on him. Not as tall, but
he could be. Still not sure.
He could be as tall.
Yes.
Yeah, you're suggesting he's still going to continue to grow at that rate?
Well, we've discussed this. I'm still not sure if Gelhart is a tall person or a short person.
I was reading an article the other day about men getting plastic surgery during lockdown, and do you know there's an operation you can have that makes you 4 inches taller? They basically break your femurs and put in an expanding titanium bar.
Hang on a minute.
That your bone grows around.
Just think of Paul Stewart Dallas.
Is he going to come back a 6.5 foot monster?
But yeah, it's done as it was pioneered as a thing to make people who actually have differently sized limbs to correct that. But now it's become a thing that.
So basically, like the bone grows in the gap.
Yeah. So and I think the thing that they put in it expands very slowly, so the bone kind of grows a bit at a time.
I mean, it's the one place Dallas hasn't played as goalkeeper. So if he added 4 inches, he might come back as a new number one.
Do it to Melia as well.
Although I'm just
and his arms.
Actually, I mean, I'm just looking at the tweets because Dallas has just tweeted in the last quarter of an hour as we record this Tuesday afternoon, and he's saying, "I'll be fit
for the weekend.
Thanks and so on. I've had amazing support. Blah blah blah. Doctors, great stuff. Support I've received has meant the world to me and my family. Now it's time to focus on my rehab. I will be back from this stronger than ever."
He probably will as well.
4 inches taller.
Bigger than ever. You never hear him say bigger than ever, do you? But it's always an option.
Feels like we're skirting around what's going on the at the Emirates at the weekend, because Arsenal, strengths and weaknesses, we always blather on about this.
Well, because it's created by the highly tuned algorithm at whoscored.com that has never let us down over the last decade of doing this podcast.
Weak at avoiding individual errors. We can capitalise on that. That's Rafinha, isn't it? Much like Rodrigo did against Man City.
Capitalise on those turnovers. That's why I was thinking of. It wasn't Consuelo who scored. He gave the ball to Rodrigo.
And we've got aerial duels as well. Dan James up there winning headers, defending against long shots.
We don't really do that, and it will click. 30 yards, 40 yards. Don't do that. We just did the t-shirts with him. He's our friend.
Well, when did he last score from outside the box?
Well, this weekend.
Okay,
I know that's projecting your question into the future, but let's be nice. Bob.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? What do we expect from Arsenal? They are a good team. I mean, objectively a better team than we are. But this doesn't feel as bad as it did going into the Man City game.
They're beatable because they're idiots.
Right.
Man City are just impenetrable. Same with Liverpool. You can't do anything. Whereas Arsenal, you kind of can. And I know last season disproved all that, because what did we do at their place? We lost, didn't we?
We were 4-0 down within about half an hour, weren't we? although weirdly, we did then score, and it felt like we might have a comeback, strangely, because of the way we used to be.
We had that FA Cup match as well when we were brilliant in the first half. And
It was Mellier's debut, was it?
It was.
So essentially, there's no recent evidence to suggest we're going to win down there.
Well, there's no recent evidence to suggest we'll win anywhere, unless you look back more than the City game.
How do you think we'll set up in this one? Do you think he'll go for a similar to
I think
Man
he'll pick
City?
11 players. The fit ones, I think they're going to play.
Do you think he'll try and do similar to what we did to Man City there, though? Because it worked to a point because he said it felt like a win.
I think he might do, but starting Rafinha as a wing back seems like a hell of a move.
Well, I mean, I've got Shackleton suspicions. I think he may come in there, and I wouldn't mind that.
And you're possibly likely to see one of Cooper or Llorente back in, aren't you, as well, which would then free up Ayling to go further out.
Yeah, so he could do that, but just as long as we don't do what we did against Palace,
which is offer nothing attacking.
Yeah,
we're at the point now where I think the point against Palace seemed like a good point. Maybe we need to actually be a bit more progressive in some of these things.
Goal difference isn't really something we can cling to, is it either?
No.
So just go for broke.
Unless we're going to win 15-0 in this game, which seems unlikely.
I mean, we're worrying about who's going to play right back, left back. Maybe we just forget about it and we just go, Joffy, Greenwood, James, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Harrison, Max Dean, Matteo Joseph.
Cresswell can do a job up front.
He can. He can be
Archie
big
Gray.
target man. Archie Gray.
Yeah.
I mean, just play. We've got Mark Jackson in as assistant manager, so we might as well play the kids. Attackers and children. So I think will work.
Works for me.
Great. I'm going to go for a Leeds win. Why not? That's all I've got left now.
Yeah, why not?
That's all I've got left.
Yeah. Do you know what? The thing is with being pessimistic,
you're more often than not right.
You're more often than not right, but you don't get anything from it because you just get to go, I knew that was bad. At least when you're optimistic, I suppose you get a moment of
thing is, I'm
living in a complete fantasy.
I'm not actually genuinely optimistic. It's blind optimism, but like I said, it's my final refuge now in this season because I've had enough of it. I want it to be over. It will be in about 3.5 weeks, one way or another.
We need a twist in our favour at some point, don't we?
Yeah, there's a slightly different tone to next weekend because Burnley are playing Villa on the Saturday, and then us and Everton away at Leicester is at the same time. So, which game do you watch? Do we watch Leeds at Arsenal? Do we watch Everton at Leicester? But yeah, that'll be quite exciting, won't it? Checking the scores, goal flash from Filbert Street.
Filbert Street.
It's near there. It's still Filbert adjacent.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that exciting to me.
You'll love it next Sunday. You might not be able to imagine it as a good time. I can't guarantee it will be a good time, but maybe it will be not a terrible time.
So I'm going Leeds win, Michael.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Moscow.
Yes.
3 Leeds wins. Great.
We get 9 points for that.
If only. There you go. Part 2 done and dusted. Then let's do heroes and villains next in part 3. Stick with us.
The Square Ball Podcast.